The DJ, the producer, the man, the legend, Dave Morales here. Hi, Dave. Dave, when people call you legend, do you feel more grateful or just old?
Well, when people call you a legend, it means something, because that means you're one of the greats. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I try to elaborate with say, I'm not a legend. I just love what I do.
Do you feel comfortable with this word?
Oh yeah, I don't care. It's like, they're just words. I mean, but if you understand the word, it's a compliment.
Absolutely.
It's a compliment.
Yeah.
Not everybody's called a legend.
Exactly.
It's like being called the GOAT. You know what I mean? So it's not like, because it's almost people make you think, man, that means you're old. They say you're a legend, you have to say like, well, I'm not that old. But it's a compliment.
Yeah. Do you like today's electronic scene?
There's a yes and a no. And there's a yes and a no to everything when it comes to evolution. Always. You know what I mean? You know, for the new generation, you know what I mean? So, because music really, for electronic music, is for a young generation. It's really not for, well, I can't say people like me, even though, but you know, I'm not your average age person, you know, because my world is music. So I mean, so because I work in the scene and I work with the generation, that keeps me young. But in reality, everything that's catered in the media and, you know, with music is to entertain the younger audience. Clubbing is for a younger audience. You know what I mean? Today, now with festivals, you have kids that are going to festivals as early as 15, 16 years old. And, you know, and as far as the music scene goes, you know, you need to evolve with the new generation. It's a new generation that gives life to it. So I'm DJing almost 50 years. Of course, I started on vinyl. When you went to a record store, there were different habits, you know what I mean, for the DJ. The way the audience enjoyed music was also different. The way male and female engaged with each other at a place where they listened to music was different than today. You know, so the one thing I'll say, electronic music and people going out to hear music or hear DJs is like, it's the biggest it's ever been. Ever, 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 ever. I mean, you have Ultrafest, you have Tomorrowland, you have Electric Daisy. I mean, it's out of control. I mean, the money that goes into these productions, you have DJs that on a regular drawing and entertaining people more than your average rock band, or whether it's a Beyonce, or it's like, Beyonce is now playing to 200, 300,000 people. You know what I mean? People now flying all around the world and like planning their holiday. I'm going to go to Tomorrowland. And these are kids. So you're going somewhere when you take a Tomorrowland or Ultra Music Festival that's gone for a weekend. It's an adventure for them. You understand?
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
So now, that's the greatest thing of it. You know what I mean? That people really into the music. Now let's talk about the bad side of it. Now the bad side of it is now you take Spotify. You take now, people no longer buying music, you're renting to listen to music. Just like Netflix or these, you're not buying a movie, you're renting to watch it. Spotify, you pay a subscription, you're paying to listen to music. You know what I mean? So you're not holding anything. Right? So for the young generation, so when it comes to people at our age, whether it was a vinyl or a CD, and we truly enjoyed music. Because enjoying music, people have a hard day at work. I had a hard day at work. I want to have a beer. I want to have a glass of wine. I want to have a cigar. I want to whatever. I had a long day kick up, and you want to play some music. And it's like, and you know, some of those vinyls is history that are passed on from generation to generation. And they are conversation pieces. So when you would invite your friends over to your house, you say, it's when let's listen to some music. You go, and you have a friend, let me see what records you have. And they go, wow, wow, wow. They were conversation pieces.
Also with CDs.
And right, that's right, and with CDs. Today, what? So if you take the new generation from now, what are they going to reflect on about music? You know what I mean? How do you label your drives? It's like, what do you remember was even on the drive? Because me as a DJ, I don't know what's on my drive. I know more or less plays what I have, but can I really say if I want to find something? It's like, besides having a computer, you know what I mean? Whereas as DJs, you have your iTunes, you have your record box, you have your whole collection in there. You know what I mean? But man, if you lose that, well, now you can save things to Dropbox. It's like all that kind of stuff. But you know, and then the engagement of people. You have social media today and all this. Everything is anti-social. You know what I mean? So what do you have social media for? It's a way for people to engage in all this kind of nonsense. But now people going to clubs. What happened to the days when a man asked a woman to dance? Let's go dance. And when people engage. You know what I mean? So you had almost an equal amount of men and women. Let's dance. Let's dance. People looked at each other. You didn't see anybody going in front of the DJ going, hey, woo, woo, woo. Oh, now what is this? It's a camera. Nobody's even moving. People just standing there. So you have a group of friends. Oh, let's go out to a club. Oh, let's go have some fun. Why have some fun? You're all sitting I was going to curse. You're all sitting at the table on your phones. So are you there to listen to the music? Appreciate the music? Because you can tell, no. You know what I mean? So it's absurd where you see, and you know, I'm just this, you know, the way where they look at us. We're not doing anything. We're not even dancing. What's up with somebody going, and you can tell when it's fake when they're going like this. You can tell the energy is fake. You know what I mean? And the people just standing there like this. It's like when you watch the Rolling Stones, yes. You watch Beyonce, yes. Those are shows. You watch, that's a show. You watch a band like Prince, it's like, oh, you see Michael, that you go there like this, and yeah. But a DJ, por favor.
But DJs nowadays are the new superstar. So maybe the behavior of the people is in that way, going out to see a superstar as you like a Rolling Stone in the same way for many people.
Yeah, you know what, it's like, you know what the problem is? The new generation there's a lot of bad examples. You know what I mean?
Tell me more.
So, you know, you have young kids are becoming stars too fast. So they don't appreciate the journey. So they're not even mature enough to enjoy it because they haven't gone through the steps. You understand?
Yes.
We're talking about somebody that they make one record and they just came out of nowhere, or because they're a big influencer on social media and they go from A to Z in 2 seconds. All that, they're stars. You think you're better than anybody. Oh, you got a private jet or something. It's like you bought the illusion. You understand? You bought the illusion. And how long is that going to start? Because fame is a drug. You understand? Yes. You see what happened to Avicii, and Avicii was 25 years old. Avicii when he was 18, it's like he had no more life. So it's almost, you know, it sounds to people, you must live an amazing life. Oh my God, you don't know what it is not to sleep. You don't know what is the pressure. You understand?
Yes.
I don't have those problems. You understand? But how so many people, because you need a machine behind all of this. You know what I mean? And the machine is the problem. And you feel pressure because you feed the machine. Without you, they don't eat.
Do you think DJs today got paid too much?
Absolutely. And I really shouldn't say that. You know, I was one of the first superstar big DJs back in the 90s. And, you know, I think I never thought in a million years that I will make a living doing what I love to do best. I haven't worked for anybody in over 40 years. I was telling my wife that today. I was like, wow, it's so amazing. When she said, it's like, we live a good life. And I said, it's amazing when you don't have to work and get up for anyone. You know, you understand?
Absolutely.
So it's like, I make a living off what I love to do. So it's not work for me. My wife has to tell me, stop making records, stop in the studio and come home. Because I love it so much that it's like, it's not work. I enjoy it. It's the air that I breathe. So it's like, that's why I say and you know, but I didn't become a superstar until I was 30 years old. But it's 30. Okay. You understand? And that's when I'm talking about flying to other countries to play.
It was around mid-90s.
No, actually early 90s, because I started traveling in 89.
In Japan?
And then, no, England.
England?
Italy.
To play at the Haçienda?
No, to play I first played at the Sin Astoria with Pete Tong and Nikki Holloway. It was during the DMC convention.
Where?
At Sin, the Astoria.
Okay.
On Town Court Road.
Okay.
Then after that was Ministry. It was Queen. It's like all the best, you know what I mean? But nowhere was at that money. So it wasn't even about flying business class. Forget about a private jet. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, when you're getting paid 300, 400, 500, you know what I mean? So it's like, and they pay for your flight, but they're not paying business class flight.
Justice.
You know what I mean? But that's how it was back in the day. Now it's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's really mind-boggling. But, you know, but that's the way it is with every aspect of life and business. The sports players are getting paid ridiculous money. You know what I mean? So, you know, you have Maradona, that was one of the best legends, Pele, whatever, that they made this money. And then you got the new kids right now that are making incredible money. It's just, you know what I mean? The stadium is charging more for the seat. They're charging more for bottled water. They're charging more for the soda, for the hot dog.
It's the destiny of the pioneers.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not a matter of, like some old people complaining, like they're jealous, whatever. They get envious. Well, it's like, you need to understand the evolution of the game. You know what I mean? And the economics, because, you know, but the problem is because they have to pay these DJs these astronomical prices, they're making it too much for the consumer. So now, you know, when you're paying a DJ, you know, you have a festival and you got David Guetta, you got the Swedish House Mafia, you got Tiesto, and it's like, yo, Calvin Harris. Okay, those names right there, you're already at $2 million in DJ fees. Who has to pay for that? The customers. So the ticket price, the water, the soda, the beer, the alcohol, it's like you're paying this.
Back in the days, I think in 1989, I read a story about you playing at the Haçienda for the first time, that people threw you bottles during your sets in the DJ booth.
That wasn't what happened. It's amazing how the story goes from fucking A to Z and people don't understand.
It's a legend.
No, it was for the Haçienda's 11th year anniversary party.
Okay.
And me, Frankie Knuckles, Tony Humphries, and the club At that time, the club started to go bad, the generation. So I remember when me and Frankie, so we were talking to Mike Pickering, and Mike Pickering and Graham Park, they were the residents. So, and they had one of those DJ, the door of the DJ booth was like a half a door. So I remember Mike Pickering just standing there, he was talking to us with a beer in his hand, and a young kid just came, took the beer out of his hand and kept walking.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So now, I was closing downstairs, and they told me I'm paid till 6 o'clock. So like 10 minutes to 6, the security guy tells me, that has to be your last record. I got no problem. But the audience downstairs, which is the stupid guys that are drunk and out of their brains, yo, you're supposed to pay till 6 o'clock. Hey, I got nothing, you know what I mean? Yo, speak to the security guy, so I know nothing. But the tour manager that I was with, a female, she called the guy a wanker, which is a bad word to say.
Okay, I know.
I didn't say, it wasn't against me. Called a wanker. All of a sudden, a beer bottle went pew.
It was Judy?
Hey?
Judy was there?
No.
Okay.
No. So I was like, she was standing next to me. It's at her they threw the bottle at. It wasn't at me. Because I didn't say nothing. She called him a wanker. So the guy did that, and then security says, okay, play another record. I said,
fuck.
And I left. So it wasn't that while I was playing, no. This was the end of the night. And they were complaining about, yo, you cut the music, what's up? It's supposed to be till 6 o'clock.
Can you compare the Hacienda to the Paradise Garage or not?
No, not at all.
Tell me-
Nothing can compare to Paradise Garage.
Let me dream about the garage.
Eh?
Tell me a story about the garage. Let me dream about it.
It was a membership-only private club. Had the best sound system in the world. And people went there to dance and listen to music in a free atmosphere.
What kind of records did you play there?
You play anything you want,
Anything?
anything.
Big journey, 6 hours, 11 hours.
10.
Did you miss that days?
Yeah, I miss those days, absolutely.
You went also to the loft, to Mancuso's loft.
I used to go to the loft before the garage.
You were very young.
I used to go every Saturday. I was there from 12 to 6 o'clock the next evening.
Oof. How old were you?
I was 19.
And did you still DJ?
Yeah, I was a young DJ, of course.
Okay, where did you play in New York?
I used to play at a club in Brooklyn. Well, I did many things. I did house parties when I was 15 years old, 16. I had my first resident at a club in Brooklyn called the Ozone Layer.
Okay.
Then the first major club I played at, I was 21 years old, was the Paradise Garage.
Do you remember this?
My God, I don't remember this. Look at that. Look at that. My God, what year was this? Ladies Free to Free Up. Look at that. Oh my God. Tropical Buffet. Yep.
This one, I think it was one of your first.
I was like 19, 20 years old.
Exactly. It was made by you.
No, that was made by my light guy. But I used to make my own flyers. I used to make them on my coffee break at my job.
Oh, wow. What do you do daytime?
I used to work at a restaurant. I was the guy that took orders for coffee, sandwiches, burgers. We call it the takeout area.
And how did you get to Flatbush in Brooklyn to Paradise Garage?
It's funny because the garage, I went there on Fridays because Friday was straight.
Okay.
Saturday was gay.
Okay.
So you had two different membership days. Friday was straight, Saturday was gay. So I went a few times on a Friday because the two underground clubs was the loft and the garage. The loft was only open on Saturdays. So there were some people that you had the loft heads and you had the garage heads. The loft was a hi-fi audiophile sound system. The garage had the sound system of doom. I've still to this day never saw a DJ booth like that in my life. So when I go there in 1980, One, I think, well, 81 and 33. I can't forget already. Shit. And I only remember that I was 21 years old. That much I remember. And so anyway, when they asked me to play at the Paradise Garage, I thought it was a joke. I never played a club in Manhattan. You know what I mean? Ever. I went as a dancer. I never even saw DJ but man, I would be there like dreaming, oh my God, the sounds of everyone. I mean, the garage was the mecca in the world of clubbing. You know what I mean? Everybody knew about the Paradise Garage. I mean, Boy George would hang out there, Michael Jackson, what's his name, Mick Jagger. It's like, it was, because it was the only underground, it's like on a place at Saturday. And I remember when they asked me to play, I thought it was a joke. Okay, and the owner says, I want you to come and play in my club. I'm like, yeah, right. This is just a joke. No, because there was a lot of other DJs that were more experienced than me and known that deserved the right to play there. But because Larry it wasn't like Larry was asking someone to fill in for him. So when they asked me, I was like, yeah, right. And then I found out it was serious. And the guy said, I want you to play a full weekend. He never heard me play. It was a recommendation, okay? This woman, Judy Weinstein, they must ask her, I want a new kid that nobody knows. You know what I mean? So I was like, so I want you to play Friday and Saturday night because I knew Saturday was gay. I thought I had to play different music. And I was like, I don't think I can handle Saturday. He said, I said, never played for a gay crowd before. He said, I just want you to come and play music.
Okay.
That's it. I played Friday and Saturday. I played 11 hours on Friday, and I played another 11 hours on Saturday.
And the reaction was amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing. Great emotion for you, I think.
Amazing.
Do you go also to the Studio 54? I mean, the Studio 54 people come down to the Loft and Paradise Garage back and forth, or it was two different crowds?
Two different crowds, two different worlds.
Opposite. Like the
The
mainstream
garage
and
and the
the
Loft, people went there to listen to music.
Okay. Okay.
Great sounds and dance.
Okay. It was free to enter? No, there was a membership card.
Membership.
Okay.
Member, and you had to be interviewed to be a member.
Oh, wow.
You couldn't just say, I want to be a member, and they gave it to you. No.
What?
That's right. They don't want it's like they want people that they want to interview and make sure that you fit the criteria for the place.
Like a little exam.
Like what?
Little exam at the university. Some questions about you and your
They
thoughts
wanna,
about
no, they want to see you and
Wow.
be like, what? And the Loft, so the garage is like you had to pay for membership, but you still had to be interviewed.
Wow.
You know what I mean? The Loft, you had to be recommended by a member. They didn't charge. So if you bought somebody that they became a member, or if you brought someone in because you can get in with a member, if something happened with that person where it reflected bad on you, you're responsible because you brought that guest in.
Wow.
You understand?
Yes, it's amazing.
So
I don't know this.
the vibe, the atmosphere was, you could by mistake break somebody's nose dancing, and you go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's okay, and ciao. You go somebody by mistake, and it's like, let's have a fight.
Wow. I don't know. It's a club nowadays that remember you in some way, that feeling in the world.
Stereo in Montreal.
Why?
It's the same concept, big sound system. And the key thing, no alcohol.
No alcohol.
No alcohol.
Also, back in the day, there was no alcohol.
Garage and Loft, no alcohol. They gave it, but the difference is the garage and the Loft, they supplied you with water,
Okay.
juice, in the morning, coffee, tea, donuts.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Salads, sandwiches. So it's like, they fed you. You just paid the price of admission.
Wow.
So you got food for energy. So it's not like, oh, I need that. No. You know what I mean? So you was a member. As a member, you got your discount price to come in. The garage, they had a cinema.
Inside?
Inside, they had a small cinema. Okay, and they would play new movies. It was like a small cinema. And then they had the terrace outside. You know what I mean? So people can enjoy themselves. You wasn't just stuck in a room. You know what I mean? And the dance floor was strictly for dancing.
Do you know the Berlin electronic scene?
No.
Okay, somebody told about the Berlin club scene has that feeling, like clubs like Panorama Bar, Berghain. For some people, remember that kind of feeling, but I don't know if you know clubs like Panorama.
No, I played at Panorama.
Okay,
I mean, it's
exactly.
wonderful. You know, people go there. You know, it's like, I'm not going. It's a similar vibe.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because we're talking about.
Also some interviews.
We're talking about like a 40-year different generation,
Okay.
40 years ago. But that people go there to enjoy themselves freely.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's what Berghain says. Why I witnessed at Panorama Bar that, you know, people went there to enjoy themselves. You know what I mean? And obviously the guy at the door, he's making sure that people that don't fit in.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter that you're VIP and you got money. Who cares?
And sometimes they get some interviews at the door. So I ask you for this reason. They told the guys in the queue is playing inside, and if you answer correctly, they can go
Oh
in.
no, it's like, yo, it's like he's watching from 20, 30 people down.
Yes,
He's reading body language
yes,
and
yes.
listening.
What they are
Listening.
saying.
Right, so you understand the intelligence
Okay.
and their story.
Okay, the feeling, the
You know what I mean?
movement.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Do you think that Needin U was the turning point of her career? Because it's nowadays is one of the best dance
And
track
still.
ever, and still has.
And still,
I know a lot of young kids
and
ask
still,
me about Needin
well,
U.
you know what? It's the biggest record I'm known for,
Yeah.
and it was the simplest record I ever made. Simple, like 3 hours. So when I did that record, I did it for me. It wasn't even about thinking about releasing it. Just a tool. You know, it's like I took samples from 2 records, and I did it on this 16 track, and I put this thing together. And then I put it, I printed it on what's called an acetate, which is
Okay.
a film, which was a 10-inch.
Yes.
Because it's only vinyl back in them days,
Yes.
so to play out. And I was playing it in my sets, and people were like, what is this? What is that? Something I put together. You need to release it. I was like, and myself was like, no, this is beneath me. I was like, I work with Mariah Carey, I work with Whitney Houston, I do Jamiroquai, I do Seal. It's like, Aretha Franklin. I'm like, Needin, it's like, it's a stupid record. You know what I mean? It's just, Needin. And I had no idea. Then, okay, released it. We did, it's funny, when I was on Mercury Records, my first album, I did like in 1993.
Yeah.
And we did 2 videos, that each video cost $100,000. MTV never played the videos. Forget about it. Forget about Viva, it's like around the world. And here we go, did Needin U for 11,000 pounds.
Ooh.
11,000 pounds, and we shot it in Ibiza.
Exactly.
It captured Ibiza. And the hit was born.
It became a manifesto, that video.
And the hit was born.
Everyone in the world want to go to Ibiza because
Yeah,
about
it was
because your
the
video.
first video that showcased
Yeah.
a part of the Ibiza club life.
Pach Pacha, the Salinas Beach.
Satrincha
Zatrincha, exactly.
or Salinas.
Salinas Beach, yes.
Salinas.
Pacha night?
Pacha. Esparadis.
Okay. Amazing.
I want to say, I'm not sure if Amnesia's in there. Pike's Hotel.
Yeah. One of your favorite.
You know what I mean? And it's funny, I play now, I've been playing for the last 3 years. And 2 years in a row, I've had a residency at Pike's Hotel.
Yes.
This year was every other week, starting from April to the end of October. And August I played every week.
Okay.
So again, I'm doing it next week, and it takes it back to basics. Because I hate festivals. They're so impersonal. You know what I mean? It's hard to read the energy of the audience. You know what I mean? You're on the stage, it's like, you gotta go like this. You know what I mean? There's no communication. You know what I mean? So at this place, it's a small DJ booth. It's just you and the light person. Perfect. Just like the old days. You don't need a bunch of people behind you. It's like, it's distracting. So, no phones, and the people go there to hear music. And I play the whole night. So I come from the education that you play the whole night, and you don't have that anymore. So when DJs are playing for an hour and a half, 2 hours, you can't express yourself in that time. You can't experiment. You know what I mean? So you gotta come on and it's like bang, bang, bang. In 2 hours, what are we talking about, 10 records? What, I mean, to 20, 15, 20? You know what I mean? You can't take people on a journey. So the journey, man, when people come for you and it's you directing the journey, you telling the story from the very first page when you open the book.
Open to close.
Open to close.
You are also the remixes king. You remix a lot of artists, Whitney Houston, Jamiroquai, but I want you to tell me about Michael Jackson and the works with you at Michael Jackson, because Michael was my idol, so I'd like to know something about you work with him.
Well, I'm not going to lie, like maybe somebody else will lie, but I never worked with Michael in the studio. I mixed a record when I mixed Scream. That was the record the only record that him and his sister did. And they flew me out to Los Angeles studio, and they had security out inside the studio. I had to tell the security guy, sit outside. They want to make sure that if the session was secret, nobody can come in. They watch that you don't take the thing is, you know, but from a distance secondhand is that Michael is very eccentric.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Beyond Prince. But I worked on a couple records. I did Thriller. I did a couple, but I met his sister because I worked with his sister, Janet. So it's like I know Janet. I mean, I met Janet when my God, she was like 16, 17 years old. Mm. But Michael, no. The only people that I worked with, my biggest intimidation was Aretha Franklin.
Why?
The Queen of Soul. Hands down. You're talking about somebody that's Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame. Yeah. And, you know, when I find myself working in the studio with Aretha Franklin, it's like she's worked with the best in the world. The best. We're talking about the days where blacks couldn't go to a white bathroom. You know what I mean? When there was that whole thing. So she comes from that era. So all those people that she grew up with, from my God, from Little Richard to Chuck Berry to Ray Charles. I mean, you're talking about when you work with all these top people, you know what I mean? It's like all the hot respected, it's like, who am I? So I remember working in the studio, it's like, I had an opinion about something, I was like, how do I tell Aretha Franklin, like,
what does she do?
And she was like, I finally came out, and she was like, never be afraid. She's like, you're here for a reason.
Wow.
And that was everything.
Best moment of your life.
And the most incredible words I remember her telling me, I'll never forget. Less is more and more is less.
Less is more and more is less. Do you ever get emotional, even in tears, during your
Oh, absolutely.
sets? Yes?
Oh, absolutely.
You still?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I won't say the word. My wife calls me this. She goes, oh, you But, you know, if you don't feel the music, how can you make your audience feel the music if you don't feel it? Do you understand? So it's only like that when I can tell a story. You know what I mean? So it ain't gonna be because I played a record and I want to have 2 hours. No, it has to be that there's a journey going on, and it's the energy that you're feeling from the people that is so intense that it's like, wow. You know what I mean? I have something where it's like, wow, this is crazy. It's not from a festival, it's in a club. But yeah, when you're telling a story, and if you're really listening to the music, because I play a lot of vocals, so you're not getting emotional from an instrumental. From the ain't no emotion there. But from a song, you're hearing the emotion. You know what I'm saying? The lyric, how they're saying it, the soundtrack to the song. You know what I mean? So I come from from the era that I had amazing, I have a music knowledge. You know what I mean? And, you know, going back to where we talk about the electronic scene, the music today is nowhere. It's not even close to what was being made back then.
Do you like the In the Ghetto reboot by Skrillex and J Balvin?
It's okay. It was an evolution. You know what I mean? It was an evolution.
Who is David Morales today?
Do I have to answer that question? Who am I? That's a good question. I'm nobody. I'm just a person that loves what he does. I feel humble and grateful to be healthy and alive, and to have the gift that I can share with people.
Thank you so much.